Are you allowed to homeschool kids who have special needs? The answer is absolutely. In fact, for so many of these kids, homeschooling is the best possible option. And today we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why homeschooling might be the best choice for your child who has special or unique needs. My name is Allison Morrow. I'm the founder and homeschooling coach with goodschooling.net. And I can actually speak from experience on this one because I have a child with dyslexia. I have 2 children with ADHD, and I have seen them both in our homeschooling experience, in our homeschooling space, and I've seen them in classes that they've taken. And I can tell you that homeschooling has absolutely been one of the best decisions that we made for their education because of the struggles that they have with their ADHD and their dyslexia and everything that comes with those. So one of the things that really scares a lot of parents, though, is that idea of leaving behind the therapy that their kids are getting in school. A lot of times kids are, they're getting either pulled out to work with a specialist, or they're in a special classroom where things are, done in a certain way to kind of help them. And one of the things that parents might not realize, although if you are deep into it with your child's school, you've probably already run into this, is the fact that the school does not give your child the full spectrum of comprehensive therapies that they may need for whatever their issue is. Schools focus on giving kids the tools that they need to function in a school classroom. They are not just giving your child general therapy to help them in life. One of the families that I interviewed when I was writing my article on my blog about homeschooling kids with special needs talked about the fact that she found out one day that the skill that they were working on in her child's classroom was getting on and off a school bus. That was what they were spending their time on, not on helping her with her math, not on helping her to comprehend, better when she reads. It wasn't even focused on classroom stuff. It was focused on getting on and off a school bus. And she realized, you know what? I think there are other things that would serve my child much better than learning that skill. That is not something she needs to be spending her time on. I think I can do better. And that was when she pulled her child out of school. So you need to look at what is it specifically that the school is going to give your child if you haven't started yet down that path. Or if you have started down that path, what specifically are they doing at school? How are they helping your child? Are these therapies that are actually going to help them in life beyond the classroom? Or are they just focusing on how to help your child learn in a traditional classroom setting? One of the things that I talk about in my article, and I'll link to that article in the description of this video, is what specifically is required by the government to be provided for students, and the fact that parents don't get all that much say in that. Just because you think that your child, or I shouldn't just say think, that your child needs help in a specific area, does not mean that the school is required to give it. They don't necessarily, give you a list of all of the possible options and say, what do you want us to work on with your child? They will determine this is what your child needs to work on. The parent doesn't get a whole lot of say. So another benefit to bringing your child home is that you have full control over the kind of resources that you're going to use with them, over the kind of therapy that they are going to get, and over the approach that therapy is going to take. It was one of the other reasons why one of the moms I interviewed pulled her children out, was because the form of therapy they were using, she did not like the effect that it was having on her child's behavior. She said, there's got to be a different way that we can do this. This does not seem like a healthy approach to therapy. And so she pulled her son out and she decided to homeschool. Another reason why homeschooling can be so beneficial to kids with learning needs and special needs and just unique needs that affect their learning and their education is the fact that you can focus on specifically what their needs are and on what their future is going to be. If you have a child that is probably not going to live independently, is not going to be able to attend college, may not even be able to hold a job, then the kind of education that child needs is going to be drastically different from your typical neurotypical child, or from a child who may have issues but may be able to live more independently in the future. So being able to homeschool means being able to look at your child and say, what exactly do you need? What options can we give you? How can we make your life as broad and as big as possible within the limitations that you have and not allow those limitations to hold you back? So much of what those parents I talked to in my interviews talked about was the fact that the schools limited their children and said, okay, this child, they kind of made the decisions for them. Oh, this child is never going to do this. This child's never going to do this. And they put limitations on them and then said, so we're not even going to give them therapies that will help them to succeed in this way. They pulled them out because they said, oh, no, my child is capable of way more than you are letting on or that you are willing to admit, because they knew that the school didn't have the resources and the time to work with their children in the way they needed to be worked with in order to make those things a reality. So when you look at your child, you know, you're their parent, you know them better than anybody. You know what your child is capable of. You know what your child's dreams are, the things that they want to do in life. And you, unlike the schools, you have the connection with your child that is going to drive you to give them as much as you possibly can to make those things happen. That might mean that you do no formal curriculum at all, and you focus instead on life skills, on teaching your child how to work in a kitchen to safely make themselves their own meal. It might mean helping them navigate public transportation so that they can go out on their own. Maybe they won't be able to drive, but they would be able to take the buses to go to the museum or go to the library, go to the places that they want to go. It also means being able to network with other families in your area who have children with the same types of needs so that you can get them together with kids that are like them and also get them together with kids who are different from them. Because just like neurotypical children, they need to know how to function with lots of different kinds of people, right? That's what true socialization is. And if your child is stuck in a classroom where they only work with other kids that look a specific way, they're not being properly socialized either. They need to be out in the world just like every child needs to be out in the world, meeting lots of different people, getting to know lots of different people, getting to learn how to work with, how to talk to, how to interact with lots of different people. And you can give them that when you homeschool. So the second fantastic reason for homeschooling kids with special and unique needs is that you are able to focus on exactly what they need at this time in their life and on the skills that they're going to need in the future. The third reason that homeschooling works so well for these kids is because you can customize everything. You can customize the curriculum. You can customize the way you use the curriculum. You can customize the approach that you take. You can customize the pacing. You can customize the content. Everything can be tailored around your child to capitalize on their strengths and their interests, to take into consideration what their limitations are, the things that they literally can't do, or the things that they can't do yet, but you know they'll be able to do eventually. When you homeschool any child, you're able to do these things. But particularly when it comes to our kids who have these different and unique needs, it is so important for them to be in a space that is going to encourage them, that is not going to ask them to do things that they literally just can't do, and that is going to say, okay, we know who you are, we understand what you're capable of, and we are going to lift you up and maximize these things and make this experience and this environment as positive and as helpful and as encouraging as it can possibly be. So often our kids are in a system that compares them. And whether it's blatantly doing it and saying, you need to do this, even though the other kids are doing this because you can't do this yet, or if they just see the comparison by seeing, oh, everyone else is doing that and I'm stuck over here doing this. We don't want our kids to become self-fulfilling prophecies where they look at everybody else and say, they can do it, I can't do it. I can't do school. I'm not a good learner. I can't learn stuff. And then come down into this spiral where they start thinking that they are incapable when we know they absolutely are capable. It's just about giving them the environment and the skills and the experience and the support that they need to be able to do the things that they want to do. So when we take them out of that environment that is constantly showing them what they can't do and saying that they are limited, when we take them out of that and put them in the homeschool environment, we allow them to be in a place where we are going to encourage them, where they're going to be surrounded by the support that they need, and they're going to be able to reach their maximum potential. If you have a child with unique or special needs and you've been thinking about homeschooling, I really hope that this video has encouraged you to see that yes, this is something you can do. There is so much resource out there, so many resources, that was grammatically incorrect, so many resources out there that can help you on your homeschooling journey, regardless of what kind of child you have. But I know that you have particular needs that other parents don't necessarily have. So I'm putting the link to that article that I mentioned here in the description. When you go to that article, you're also going to be able to find a download that breaks down into different common diagnoses, things like autism and dyslexia and processing issues and lots of, I don't remember all of them that I have in there, ADHD, of course, and then lists different resources that you can go to that can help you on your homeschooling adventure. I will also link to a couple of my most favorite special ed homeschooling groups that can help you. I'm part of those groups. I help those groups. And I just want you to realize, to recognize, and to hear that you are capable of this. Just like you are capable of raising this child, you are capable of educating them as well. You can homeschool. I can help with good schooling. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got value out of this, and I can't wait to help you on your homeschooling adventure. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.